Ernie Klein, welcome to the Daily Social Distancing Show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm a big fan.
I am a major fan of yours, not just because of the work that you've done, but because of the world you created with the work that you've done, and because of how I almost want to say, I guess, how much truth telling you told. Even in telling a future story, it feels like you've told the truth about the present. Ready Player One was a smash hit, one of the best selling books of all time. And the movie was a smash hit as well. And now Ready Player Two is the long awaited sequel. For those who don't know, it's the story of a not too distant future where everybody basically lives in a virtual world. No one wants to live outdoors, no one wants to do anything anymore. And our true pleasure is garnered by living inside this virtual reality, which might have seemed far-fetched when you wrote it, but it seems like we're edging closer and closer to that.
It does. It was really shocking to me how quickly a lot of the predictions that I made, especially about virtual reality and the adoption of virtual reality technology, how quickly that happened. It's only been 9 years since Ready Player One was published, and there was not virtual reality headsets available when the book came out, and now there's a bunch of different competing brands, and I use virtual reality all the time.
What I loved about the book is you wrote about what is many people's childhood dream. Living in a virtual reality, creating an avatar of yourself, flying, becoming a dragon. Becoming like an iron giant, whatever it is. But what I loved about it is the fantasy is couched in the reality of in and around the toll that it has on human beings. We see like real life people not knowing how to interact. We see people just like addicted to like the social media side of this thing and to the world where they can be somebody else. You clearly love the science fiction. You clearly love, I mean, it's not even fiction anymore, but you love this world. But at the same time, you're always really careful about making it seem like a complete fantasy. Talk me through how you play with that and why you think it's so important to keep reminding the reader of how dangerous this technology could be.
That's a great question. I feel like all of our technology is potentially dangerous. It just depends on how we use it, and sometimes the perils of that technology don't become apparent right away. Like social media is relatively new, like 15 years, and only now are we beginning to see the huge sociological ramifications that it can have, and also just the way it can affect people personally. And that's true of the internet in total. Like I think it drastically altered our lives, and it's drastically changed the way people interact with each other in both good and bad ways. So I always wanted to show both sides of the technology, and also just the addictive nature of if something's really enjoyable and really fun, the impulse is to do it to excess. And so I always try to show the characters struggling to find balance with their love of technology, which is something that I do in my own life.
One of the biggest reasons I'm a fan of your work is that you did something that I've always missed in the world of science fiction and fantasy for so long, and that is you have diversity. Like every fantasy story, I'd just be like, wow, okay, so there's just like no people of color in these fantasy worlds. But you have a diverse cast of characters. And what I love is it's not forced. You're just talking about real people who play video games, whether it's, Japanese kids or whether it's a black woman who's struggling with being LGBTQIA in this world and she's going like, what is my identity in the real world and the fake world? So my question to you is like, how did that come about? Because it seemed so natural. It doesn't seem like you're, bowing to anything, but it really informs the story and the characters.
Thank you. Well, that's part of my worldview and part of my own experience being a gamer and kind of venturing out. It's one of the things I love about the internet and video games is that by creating an avatar, you create this alternate, idealized version of yourself, and you have control over how other people see you. The internet can strip away a lot of prejudices that way by allowing people just to connect as pure intellects, and I think that's been a really powerful thing in my own life because you can get to know somebody and feel like you know them really well without ever even being in the same time zone. So I think the internet can be a powerful tool in creating empathy, and that was something else I wanted to explore in Ready Player Two. The idea of this virtual reality technology allowing you to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes. I think a lot of the problems that we're facing right now can be traced back to a lack of empathy. And if there was it would be great if technology created a way for you to see how other people feel. If people can't do it on their own, it would be great if there was an invention that allowed you to see the world through other people's eyes or walk a mile in their shoes. So those are all things I wanted to weave into the story.
In Ready Player 2, and I don't want to spoil it for any of the fans because I would hate if someone spoiled it for me, but just the beginning of the story is, what if you could be immersed? What if you could feel what was happening in a game? What if you could feel what somebody else was feeling? I mean, like, one of the most interesting parts in the story is where people are now experiencing famine. People are experiencing somebody starving. People are experiencing a war-torn region, and it changes their empathy. But what you also do in Ready Player 2 is you show how hard it is to maintain your empathy and your level of just wanting to understand when you become part of the class. You know, you've got Parsifal, who is like this legend who fights the man and wins freedom of the Oasis. But then very quickly, he's the billionaire now. He, you know, wants to make the money, he wants to make the moves. And it's interesting because he's not a villain, but we come to realize how quickly you can make the wrong moves if your environment changes dramatically. And obviously that means like just being super rich, you think very differently.
Yes, well, and also he's a teenager, you know, and kind of becoming the CEO of a huge company like Facebook or Twitter when you're that age and maybe don't have the wisdom to handle it. That was something that I knew when I told this story that these characters would all have to confront, and because it's something that the CEOs of all our big tech companies are confronting the implications of their technology right now, and the profound ways that it affects even the way people think. Already the internet is and social media is plugged directly into our brain in some ways, and it's affecting everything around us. So I'm glad you picked up on that. That was definitely part of the fun of telling the story.
But when you look at the real world, you look at the Amazons, the Facebooks, the Twitters, the Snapchats, TikToks, whatever it is, there is no denying that they've consumed a certain part of our brains, and they're going to inform how we think and even see each other as human beings. When you look at the real world and you look at these CEOs and these companies that they've created, what do you hope that they'll understand about what they've made, and what do you hope that they'll apply to these products to try and make them as ethical as possible for the human race?
Well, exactly what you said. Some effort to make the technology ethical, and not just openly allow this basically mind control device that they've created to be used by anyone to sow the seeds of disinformation. It's just something that we've required of like television networks and radio networks for decades, but this new technology kind of rose up without any oversight, and now it's seems to me that it's spiraled out of control, and it's kind of still like the wild wild west, and now we're struggling to rein it in at a time when it's already feels like it might be too late.
Yeah, you've got to rein it in before it's too late. I could talk to you for hours about this. I mean, because the book will last you for hours, and I hope everybody goes and gets it. If you're a fan of video games, if you're a fan of the future, if you're a fan of the present, you're going to love it. Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much again. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh,
thank you for writing an amazing story. And for real, thank you for including every single kid who actually plays the video games that they're so often excluded from. So thank you so much for this. Thank you for your time. And I'm excited for everyone to read Ready Player 2, and I'm excited for the next film.
Oh, thank you so much, Trevor.